Okay, so just trying something a little bit different. We're doing a live today. I'll take you through my workout. We're also going to do a Q&A, so if you guys have any questions about training or whatever, let me know. I'm here for you. So do back pressure first, and as we get more and more people, I'll talk about some other stuff. But today's back pressure is, we're gonna do, all you do, you take a strap, you double it up like this, and Reno really likes this one, so you do like this, just like that, like it mimics a strap. So I have this here. So if I didn't have it here, I would go like this as far as starting position. So I just extended it like this. That way I can slide forward into my starting position. So all we're gonna do for this is get square like you're gonna start, get tight in the middle, and just rock back just like that. So this mimics back pressure in the strap. This is one of my strongest points. Just like that. So this is just 25 pounds. We're gonna start off. Nice and easy. Cool, so we'll do back pressure first, and then we'll do some rising, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, now we have 40. So you want to make sure the top and the bottom are even as far as pressure. So it's not this, it's this. You just lock and just rock back. I'm still pretty sore, so we'll see. We might go up to maybe 80, 90. Make sure when you do this, this is as tight as you can. Obviously, as you go up in weight, you'll separate a little bit, but that's fine, as long as you're not doing this crap. Let's get this a little closer. All right, so we are gonna be hitting, this is 60. So we're up to 60 pounds. This is a double pulley. I always have the crane scale on there, just so I know what the hell is going on as far as the weight. Hopefully this is a decent angle. Maybe a little bit down. Boom. All right, I don't know how to even view the chat on this. Get a haircut. Thank you, Arm Wrestling Showcase. I'm trying to grow it out, so it's gonna look very messy for like 6 months. All right, we are up to 60 pounds. So like I said before, you take a strap. Also, these are garbage right here as far as these straps. I found this on Amazon. It's a Homemade Plus Femi, whatever that is. Don't get these are trash. They're too short anyway. And I hate when they use these at tournaments, so watch out for these ones. So you double it up just like this. Just like that. So 60. Get real tight. Get your hip locked in. And just rock back. Hopefully that makes sense. Now when I started arm wrestling, I never did any sort of movements like this one as far as the rocking back. I did a lot of maybe incorrect movements or not as efficient. I would do kind of this stuff. And as far as training riser, I would kind of get something like this and do that motion. I'll show you how to train riser in a little bit. So when we're thinking about arm wrestling, when we're thinking about training, we want to be as efficient as possible. So what does that mean? That means that in a repertoire of 100 different exercises, you want to narrow it down to maybe the top 20% of what's going to give you the most results. Now, stuff like this, or like very, very specific movements are not going to be your bread and butter. The big movements, kind of compound exercises, I would equate that to kind of like doing a squat, bench, or deadlift. They're going to be your bread and butter. You're going to get the most gains from these guys. So don't go too specific in your workouts, especially when you're first starting off. You'll find that very quickly you're not getting any gains. Oh, yeah, left. All right, so we'll move that. So what does that look like? That looks like you're in a strap. It's not perfect, but it's very close. Nice and easy. Just like that. So I prefer to top roll, so I do a lot of my exercises for top roll, emphasizing back pressure, rising, things like that. I also do some side pressure type of things for hook, but that's kind of on the back burner. I want to be decent in a hook, so if I'm going like this and they catch me into a hook here, I want to be able to go forward and figure out what to do here. I want to have enough strength to pronate and bring it back. So maybe in the future I will work on transitioning to a hook, but until then I'll top roll. Top roll I think is better than the hook because of a lot of reasons. One, because it's a lot safer. If you're going like this at the start, you're way less likely to get injured, way less likely to break your arm compared to if you're going like this or if you're pressing. So a lot of new guys, they'll start off pressing. They'll not realize that, so they'll set up like this, and if the other guy gets to go on them, he'll torque your arm like this and he'll snap your arm right off. So risk versus reward. If you really want to win an arm wrestling match for whatever reason, for your ego, yeah, do whatever you want, but I think about the long term and what's going to benefit me in the long term. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. You want to stay injury free. Okay, now we're up to 160. So let's crane scale it. So it should be 90. Hold. All right, so at 0 now. Depending on the friction of your cable machine, it might be off by a few pounds or so, but this one, I'll show you. Hopefully you can see this and my camera is not too crap. It's gonna be 80. This 80 pounds on the dot. So that's going to be one. So people will put a ton of weight like this and they're like, oh yeah, that's 160. No, it's not 160. When in doubt, crane scale it. So let me know if you guys have any questions about training. Let's say you're just starting out in the sport and you're kind of confused, as I was, what the hell to do. There's so many different training methods. There's the Todd Hutchings one, or you can do the Ryan Bowen method, and that's just go really hard and injure yourself. I mean, that's something people do. Or you can do the SMART method and put a lot of structure in your training. I've been getting trained by Sandra Sedis for the past 6 months or so. And he was trained by Giannis, and he was trained by another world champion. So there's a lot of things that Sandras knows that he can show me and can show his students. Compared to when you look at training programs that, let's say you have Todd Hutchings, for example, right? How many people that do the Todd Hutchings method end up hurting themselves? I would probably say more than 50%, okay? One of the guys I follow on YouTube followed Todd Hutchings, but Todd Hutchings method, he was even enhanced. He was not even natural, and he couldn't do it. So what does that tell you about, his training method? It's great for Todd. It helps him. But, if you try it, you might get injured. You want to look at, so if you look at 10,000 athletes, right? You look at the top 10%, 80% of them train pretty similar, or the 20% train very specifically. You take Devin Larratt, performs, does exercises throughout the day, right? Which we can't do because we have to work and make money. You look at Todd Hutchings, which is a little bit more structured, but still not a lot of people do that. Then you have on the other spectrum, you have John Brzenk, which does 0 weights, and all he does is arm wrestle, which is probably a lot superior than trying to figure out what exercises to do to emulate pulling when you could just be pulling. All right, 80. Hopefully that makes sense. So I would say my back pressure max is probably around, I would say like 120, I would say. But right now it's not 120. Okay, so you want to get tight here, get your hip up. So, just like that. So just trying something a little bit different with this live. Hopefully, people ask some questions. I can help you all out. Because when I started, I had a lot of questions and people didn't really want to help me out for whatever reason. I think they, when you start out, people in your home state, they kind of view you as a potential threat, especially if you're getting good, and they hold back information. So I don't have that belief. I think that the stronger my teammate is, teammate in Arizona, the better I'll get because I have more resistance to work against and so on. So that's like playing, that's like you're a basketball player and you play high school. So that's, this level. Then you play with people at a college level, that's this level. Then you play at an NBA level, which is way up here. Your level is going to rise according to your competition. It's not going to rise inherently. It's going to rise to meet a demand. And that's how, that's how exercises work. That's how working out works. So the only comment I have is get a haircut. So I think I'll make a video, maybe a short, maybe a long form video about what supplements to take. I take quite a bit of supplements. I take collagen powder. I've tried the collagen tablets. I don't think those were as good. I do a lot of my shopping at Costco, so they tend to have a lot of sales on collagen powder. So I'll take 20 grams of that a day, especially leading up to an important match. I'll up a lot of things, like I'll up my calories, I'll up my protein, I'll do 40 grams of collagen a day, things like that, and it'll help me prepare my body. Because as you get closer to a match, you're increasing the volume, you're increasing the calories, so you can recover from your workouts. Unless you're trying to lose weight, in that case, have fun with that, because that sucks. All right. Now I compete at 220, or if it's a Bill Collins event, that's going to be UAL. It's going to be 232, because I don't want to make 205. I made 205 one time, and I felt like garbage, so. So get real tight. So that's 80, we're gonna go 100. So this should get pretty heavy. So I'll do sets of 3 for this one. All right. Now, there's a lot of different ways to train side pressure. Probably the most effective ways are something like this, where I'm doing more of a strap focused back pressure. That's going like this. And what that does is it puts resistance equally, or as equally as you can, of these two strap points. And so it mimics strap pulling. Or another way that I like to do it is with a strap like this, or a belt. You put that in a down position like that, and you can work it in 3 different angles, right? So from a position like this, you can put it, the meat and potatoes is gonna be like this, right? So that's gonna build up your brachioradialis here and your brachialis here. So you get really tight, and then you lean back like that. Another way I like to do it is if you want to focus on, let's say you're high posting top roller, knuckles up like that, you want to focus on this one. So you put it just like this, and what that does, it forces your hand to dump like this. So as you're doing more and more weight, it's going to go like that on you. So it's going to work not only your back pressure, but it's going to work your riser as well. The proper way to work riser is to lock out your hand like this and then put resistance against that point. So that's one of the biggest kind of issues I had in the beginning, is I didn't really understand how to train. And through the help of my first coach, which was Reza Demaganian, and my second coach, Sandras, I utilized their knowledge to make my workouts a lot more efficient, a lot more effective. How do you recover after practice or a heavy gym training session? So I'm a little bit different. I never take ibuprofen. I never take painkillers, because I've read some articles, some scientific articles that say that ibuprofen use tends to lead to a tendon injury, like a tendon rip, for whatever reason. So I want to build up the tendons. I don't want to mask the pain. So one of my biggest theories that I have as far as training is that pain is good, right? So the point of pain is that it tells you what not to do, right? So if you're masking the pain, let's say my bicep, like right now my bicep is super sore. So I'm not gonna take a bunch of ibuprofen and do heavy ass curls like this, because my bicep might rip off. So my body is telling me not to do that. And so I don't do ice. I don't do any anti-inflammatory things, because I want to feel the pain and I want it to recover. So I'm a big proponent. What I actually do for recovery, not a lot of people do this. I get PRP injections. So that stands for platelet-rich plasma. So what they do is basically they take your blood out, they spin it, and then you have the platelets left over. And what the doctor does is he injects those platelets into the area that hurts. So for me, I always get it usually in my elbow. So he'll inject here, and what that does is it doesn't mask pain. What it does, it promotes inflammation, and what the inflammation does, along with the platelets, it heals the tendon and heals the area. So we want to focus on healing and not masking. Levi Prince, what's up, bro? That guy's a beast. Ibuprofen can slow down healing and can eat the lining of your stomach. Absolutely. So if you look at the side effects of ibuprofen, I mean, it's total garbage. You only take pain relievers if you absolutely need them. It's kind of like taking antibacterial medications. They're going to kill your gut biome and things like that. It's going to lead to much more issues than you weren't hoping for. All right, let's get the chatter. 100 pounds. Let's see if I can flip the camera. No, it doesn't. There's no option for that. Okay, so that's full stack here. If that goes well, I have something called a gym pin, which I can put on there and increase the weight. So hopefully this will be enough. I'm trying to get stronger every day. Hell yeah. Yeah, me too. Just a little bit of something every day, I think, is a lot better than a whole lot of something a few of those days. You know what I mean? All right, 100 pounds. Usually when the camera's on, it adds 10% strength, so we'll see. So just like that. So we'll try to do 3 reps here. Let's see if today is a good day. I guess today's a decent day. I think one important thing is when you start off in the sport is proper goal setting. I mean, what poundages you need to hit, things like that, because it can be very confusing at how to gauge your progress if you're just pulling against different people. You don't know if one day, one practice, they kick your ass, and the other practice, you kick their ass, and you don't understand that they might be a lot more beaten down than you, or they might be progressing a lot faster than you. So it's very kind of arbitrary how to gauge your progress that way. So you want to gauge your progress in tournament results, your placings, and you want to gauge your progress right here in the gym. Okay, so we're gonna increase the weight a little bit. So we're gonna go to maybe a 2-repper. So one trick that I have is this thing right here. So this funny looking thing, it's called a gym pin. What you basically do with this one is you put it into right here, just like that. And what that does is you can add additional plates to it to make it more. So one confusing part about that is, so if you had 10 pounds, is it 10 pounds or is it 5 pounds? It's likely 4 pounds or 3 pounds. So it's not a direct conversion. So I'll go get a 10 and I'll see how much that is. All right, so I have a tenner. So you just basically add it just like that. So we'll see with the crane scale how much it is. Let's see. So 0. All right, so the whole stack is 100 pounds, and we just added a 10-pound plate. So 112, okay, doesn't seem right. Let's do it again. Oh, okay. Okay, 106.8, so that makes some sense. So it's 60% of the weight. So we'll do a few reps here. I don't know how many kilos that is, I don't have a calculator. 55 kilo, something like that. 58 maybe? Okay, my form might be a little bit shit. So 106. So you want to put this. So in a match, the lowest point you can put the bottom strap is 1 inch below your wrist line. So you want to put it there as far as the lowest point. If you put it here, obviously you're going to be a lot stronger. So right there. Justin Douglas, this guy here is a beast. We were supposed to have a match, but I got injured because I was an idiot. So I'm trying not to get injured anymore. So, but that guy's a pure beast. Definitely follow that guy. All right, maybe a little bit more this way. All right. All right, 108 pounds. So if you look at Justin Douglas's video, he'll also have a crane scale. So I like the way he does things as far as his structure of his workouts. He also has a cable stack like this, but sometimes with friction and things like that, especially if you have a cable machine outdoors or whatever, a plate loaded machine, it can create friction and make it less or more or whatever. When in doubt, crane scale it. So I pull a little bit differently on my left, so I have both of my feet under the table like this. One puller that does this is Plamen Dimitrov. So that gives you a lot of back pressure. Where it's lacking though is the side pressure. So you can go back, you can take their hand, but you're a little bit weak on the side pressure for pinning. Okay, we'll put another 10 on. So I'm pretty beat up right now, so maybe if I do 120, maybe I can do 10% more. So you need to be ready for Mexicali. So that's gonna be a great event. So that's gonna be, correct me if I'm wrong, Ricardo, but in May, sometime in May, so that's going to be an epic event. I am definitely going down for that, you know, of a few reasons, right? So it's hosted by Ricardo Vidal and Greg Brown. So I know they host really great events. They focus a lot on the quality of the event, promoting the event, so higher caliber athletes get pulled to the event, which if you also are a high caliber athlete, you want to see where you are compared to those guys. So if I'm ranked 15 and the number 10 guy goes up there, I can see where I'm at. Plus also, what a lot of promoters are missing in this sport is recording. So either live streaming it or hiring someone to record the event. Because let's face it, we would have a lot of people don't place in these events. What they have as memories are t-shirts or the recording of their events. So you want to record the event. It also promotes your event when people share the video. You know, a big promotion, a big promoter that really does things the right way and elevates the standard for basically how to run an event, how to promote an event, or how to live stream it or whatever, is Tim Talmadge. So Arm Sports Entertainment. He has really great shirts. By the way, I have like 20 of these. So look at his videos, look at, you know, the Arizona State. Some people don't like the way he does things. People don't like the way that he invites people from Latvia or Australia or whatever the hell. But when are you going to get the chance to face Sandra Settis or some of the Australian guys, right? So don't be afraid. So we're going to crane scale this. So we have 20 pounds, which, if my math is correct, 60% is going to be 12 more weight. So it's about probably 112, 113. So I don't know if you can see it. It's 111.6. So if I yank this a couple times, I'll probably get 111, 112, 113, 110. So that's kind of the average. Robert Racky, boy looking thick. Thank you very much. I haven't seen your face in a long time, so hopefully you're doing fine. Justin Douglas, I don't hardly ever train back pressure, even though I should get way better training results from training side pressure. I mean, you're a very side pressure, hand dominant kind of guy. For people that don't know, Justin has very, very good grip strength. I think he can close the Captains of Crush number 3.5 or 4, whichever it is. You can correct me. And he has a big ass hand, big ass thick hand, big ass strong hand. So, you know, the way you pull is very hand dominant, where I go back and I try to get out. But you can't go around training side pressure, man. It's a very efficient way to pull. Because I can do probably more side pressure poundage wise than people can do side pressure poundage wise. So I remember I had a match versus this guy who used to be a Major League Baseball pitcher, and his move was basically like he was throwing a baseball. So his move was just like this, right? So all I had to do was separate him a little bit, and that took him from here to here, and it just messed this whole thing up. So I remember this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago at Colorado State. He approached me after the tournament. He's like, what the hell, what did you do to win that match? Because last year I just went through everybody. So it's better to have it and not need it than need and not have it, whatever it's. 3.5, so there you go. How many pounds is that, Justin? All right, so we go 1, 2 reps here. So my goal as far as back pressure is like 120, 125, 130. That's kind of what I want as far as poundage wise. I don't really gauge too much on pronation. especially from the floor, because there's so many different things that can happen. Like maybe you're using too much rotation or not enough bicep or whatever. There's too many variables there. So I better I gauge my progress more with bicep movements, back pressure. I don't ever do pull-ups because I'm too fat and I'm too heavy right now. So they're a lot harder to do. And I've been trying to pull maybe 1 to 3 times per week. And that's been working out pretty good. All right. Let's put this here. Hopefully you guys like the live. I know I like watching people train, especially if they're going near max weight. It lets me know that based on this guy's poundages in the gym and his results, kind of where I am compared to that guy. And I will not train side pressure today. Okay, we'll call it 1 rep. We'll go up a little bit, and then we'll try 1 more rep. 1 rep every time. I wasn't gonna go heavy, but I gauge it based on how I feel rather than what I put into the training. December was kind of an off month for me. Usually I like my training structured from Sandras tells me basically what to do, sets, reps, and whatever. But I've kind of been feeling a little bit burnt out lately. So December, I'm just basically doing what I like in the gym. I like a lot of bicep movements, cheek curls, things like that. That to me is fun. Let's go up. So there's 2 10s. We'll put let's go crazy. Let's put a 25 and a 10. So 35, it's roughly 60% of that. All right, so we have 25 on plate. Dang, 175 pounds. Wow. So, what's up, John Belak? Why are you so weak? You know me, man. Weak as shit. Justin Douglas, the one I've closed was rated 178. They have a range from 165 to 190. Yeah, that's freaking amazing. Have you ever done the dynamometer, whatever it's called, where you're just squeezing and you get a number? I got 225 or something like that. I wonder how much you got. Keith says, about how many working sets are you doing per exercise and how many exercises per workout? So let's say I'm nearing a competition or something for like 3 months or something like that. What I will do is, this is something that Sandras already does for me. But if I didn't have a coach, this is how I would do it. So let's say I'm 2 or 3 months from now. I would go 70% intensity. I would do that for 2 weeks. I would go around 3 or 4 sets, around 8 to 12 reps. So let's say I'm doing back pressure. I'm gonna go 70% of my max. So what you want to do is you want to max out first, so you can get these percentages correct, right? And then, the 3rd week and the 4th week, I would go 80% intensity. Intensity meaning, let's say it's 80% intensity. That means you have 2 reps in the tank. If it's 90% or 95%, that means you have 1 rep in the tank. Some people like the RPE system where perceived level of exertion or whatever it's called. But that's kind of a simple way of thinking about it as far as intensity. So then basically leading up to the competition, the closer your competition you are, the higher in weight you go, okay? And with that is, if hopefully you're close to the weight that you want to compete in, you're upping your calories, you're upping your protein. A lot of people don't do anything nutrition-wise as when they're preparing for arm wrestling. Let's say a match or whatever. So if I'm 220 and I have a match in Mexico, like I had, and the guy's 260, I'm not going to go in at 220. I'm going to go in at 240 to have a higher likelihood of winning, right? So I'm upping my calories, I'm upping my protein, I'm getting fat, right? Weight moves weight at the end of the day. So if you care about that victory, that's what you're going to be doing. Hopefully that makes sense. We are pulling Sunday, by the way. I will be there. Nice shirt. Oh yeah, this is the one from the Arizona State, I think a year or two ago. Anyway, so we have 25 and 10, 35 extra weight. All right, let's see. So, no fake weights here. I remember a funny story as far as fake weights go. So I used to go to this private gym, and I wanted to record some exercises as like demonstrate them or whatever. And I wanted to put some heavy weight, but I was too sore. So I asked the owner, I was like, hey, do you have some like fake weights or something like that, just for a YouTube video? He looked at me, he said, son, we don't do that here. So don't do that. All right, green skill. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, didn't hold it. So, this is pretty close to my max. So this is 121.8. So my form might be pretty ugly here. All right. What is your max on this lift? It's around 120, honestly. It's kind of hard to gauge as far as how you're doing it. So let's say if I'm maxing out and I do it like this, yeah, freaking fantastic. But if I'm going like that, I think I would still count it. I remember watching Hermes Gasparini max out, and he was kind of doing that form when he was near that max. So I think that's okay. So around 120, between 120 and 130 is my max for back pressure. When I train with Eric, he has this, Eric Wolf, he lives 5 minutes away from me. He has this machine where, just like this, he has it on here and here. And he's like, if you move it a little bit, it sets off a buzzer. So I think I have the current record on there. Then John Brazin came and beat that, so, but now I don't do that anymore. Let's see, Justin says, I've got 224. Probably could get more on a good day. My grip isn't at its best right now because of heavy training. You know, honestly, grip is not, I wouldn't say grip is all that beneficial in arm wrestling, although building a better hand and stronger hand is always beneficial, right? All right, so we have 120, 121. So this might get ugly. Might be better. 121.8. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't break the strap. God damn it. Okay, the weight's kind of slipping. Oh, fuck, this is gonna hurt. $121. Ah, it's a deep burn. So that's pretty close to my max. I could probably do maybe 126 or something like that. But I think I might end it there. So if I'm totally fresh, I'd be maybe 10% stronger. So 121 on the left. Let's see. All right, let's see. This would be a PR on the left. All right, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I'm not counting that. That's ugly. So, you know what? Let's put some more weight on. Let's go crazy. So I'm gonna put, let's see if today's a good day. So I'm gonna put a 45 on, which probably should be around 130. Oh, fuck. All right. 45-pound plate. So as far as the thickness goes, you can only put this in a 10 maybe at the most. So if I was at an actual gym, I'm actually at my apartment gym, so which is a lot easier to record here because nobody works out at this place. If I was at a real gym, the place would be a lot thinner and I could stack more. Not that I can stack 245s or anything, but maybe something to shoot for. So just to show you guys how this is done. So, I'm a terrible camera person. All right, so the pin is on the bottom and the gym pin is at the very middle, okay? In Todd Hutchings' garage, that was lift. Hey, I'll take it. I will take that. So we have a 45er on there. So if my math is right, which it never is, 131, I would say. I don't know. All right. So 22 people looking at the live, looking at me try to break myself. Awesome. All right, so last one was 121.8. So just like I said with this grain scale, guys, I mean, you need to have this. This one goes up to 600 or 800 pounds or something like that. You want to get one where you can have the hold feature. Otherwise, you're pulling it, you're yanking it right, and somebody has to watch the number because they float. But the hold feature, you don't have to do anything. It just holds the weight, holds the maximum amount of force exerted on the end. Oh God. All right. Okay, does this make any sense? This is 121.6. Maybe I goofed it up. So the larger diameter plates, they sometimes don't really reflect on the weight. I'm sure if Eric was here, he can explain how that works, but let's try it again. Yep, 120. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, but okay, we'll take it. Okay, we'll put a 25 on there. Let's see how much that is. So now, we have 45 and a 25. So that should hopefully give me 130. All right. Okay. Oh God, this is heavy. 128, so pretty close to 130. We'll just call it 130. All right. 45, 25. Like I said, every cable machine is different. All the pulleys, you know, it's all, sometimes they're double pulley. There's one at my gym. I go to Mountainside Fitness, and they have one that's a 4 pulley, meaning that if you lift 100 pounds on there, it's like 25 pounds or something like that. So really great for making videos. Really good for your ego. All right, 130. This would be a PR on the right. Well, it'd be a PR on the left too. I feel like Sam Sulek right now. Just recording my workouts. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, give me power. Like Dragon Ball Z, power bomb. Power. Spirit bomb? Spirit bomb. Power bomb. Anyway. Oh, that wasn't even a lift for Todd Hutchings. Okay. Oh, no. It might be more than 130 for all I know. Okay, so today's max was 120, 121 something. All right, cool, let's do the next thing. All right, so hopefully you might find this helpful, especially to a lot of the newer guys. So let's talk about handles, okay? What handles you need, what handles you don't need. Okay, it's probably easier to talk about which ones you need. There's probably 100 of them available, and everybody copies each other, right? So Mazurenko made his, and someone else copied it, and someone else copied them. Now you can get 500 of these from Alibaba for like $5 each, right? So these are the 3 most essential handles. When I say essential, that means that you get the most amount of gain from them, okay? If it's something that's more specific, I wouldn't recommend that, especially in the beginner to intermediate stage. I would consider myself in the intermediate level. The more you go in the sport, the higher your level goes. You tend to specialize. So people will specialize in different cupping movements, right? So from here or here or here, whatever. I'm way too early into my journey to think about that. So let's talk about finger containment, hand strength, This one doesn't really work. It kind of works wrist a little bit as well, but so this is the eccentric handle from Mazurenko equipment. I like to use Mazurenko equipment because it's the highest quality equipment. I had this guy for 3+ years, and it still looks like the day I bought it. So what you do with this one is you put your fingers here, you put your thumb around this little dude, and then with a straight wrist, with a neutral wrist, you're just kind of going like this. You can either do reps like this, or you can do reps like this. So this, I remember watching a video from Igor Mazurenko. You know, he made videos with Dennis and all the top guys at the time. And they said the single exercise that had the most carryover or was the biggest indication of arm wrestling strength was this one. So that should tell you a little bit of something. Let's talk about the next one. Next one is going to be the strap or a belt. So like I said, I like the Mazurenko equipment just because they're very high quality, and I don't have to worry about my belt breaking or whatever, or the comfort of the exercise. So from this one, you know, you're working back pressure. You're working back pressure with a focus on rising here. I never do this one here. I think that's a total waste of time, except if you're gonna do a burnout. Okay, so that's for that. Belt is also very good. I would say the fourth one. I mean, just because these things are so cheap. So judo belt, I have mine tied like this. So from this, you can do, you know, pronation, you can do supination, you can do all sorts of nations. And it's very, very versatile. Third one, or fourth one, is a lovely wrist wrench. Often imitated. There is 100 different, variations of this, from having a wrist portion where it secures to your wrist and then you're going like this. I've had all of them. I've had ones that like the wrist ball one. I don't like that one. I have a theory that the Hermes and Dave Chafee, when they take these videos, you have to assume that they're using a particular handle for a particular reason. Like, for example, Hermes in his old videos never used the wrist ball, right? But then he got sponsored by wrist ball, and then he started using it, right? So does he really use it, or is he just doing it because he's sponsored? So my theory is that he's only using it for sponsors, right? So you want to have a wrist wrench. This is a 2-inch diameter. You want to take a 2-inch diameter, ideally. I'm saying 2-inch specifically because that's what Sandra says. And if Sandra says something and he's a 4-time world champion, I tend to believe it. So from this, you can do a lot of different things. You basically roll it up like this. And you can do cupping like this for wrist, for hand strength. You can also do, have this off the floor tied to a weight, and you could lift it like this. I also like that a lot. So pretty versatile handle. Cool, okay, let's do something different. Let's do rising. So as far as my workouts, my selection of exercises, I like to do the exercises that have the most carryover and utilize the most body parts, right? So I wouldn't do this. I would do this, right? It's kind of like the difference of doing like a machine back exercises like this, or a deadlift. So a deadlift will have more overall growth, overall gains. All right, so we don't need this anymore. So I'm putting it right here, like that. You don't ever want to do this. Don't do this garbage. A lot of people, they'll do, let's say 150 pounds or something like that, and they'll go like this. This is similar to using like a rowing machine, right? A lot of people like to do those rowing machines at the gym because they can stack 5 plates or 10 plates, whatever it is. You would think there would be carryover there, but it's not that much carryover as you think. So I wouldn't do those. All right, so starting position, everything's tight. And I'm just going like this. I'm just rocking back. But obviously the larger the weight is, the more I'll get like that. Hopefully these tips are beneficial to you guys. At the end of the day, rule 1 is be strong. So the stronger you get, the better you're gonna do, right? The other guy can have all the technique he wants, but if he can't move your arm, he's not gonna do anything. When in doubt, refer to rule 1. Justin says, that's the handle I gauge my cupping strength on. So that guy's hand is mega and his cup is mega. So I think he had a recent match, if I remember, maybe a few months ago. I think, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the guy's name, but I think he did pretty well. Okay, so we're gonna lower the cable machine a little bit so it hits our riser a bit more. So the lower the cable machine, the more force gets exerted going this way. That's what we want when we train our riser. The weight is 60 pounds. Probably gonna be easier on my left. Oh God, maybe not. Oh, that's weighty. So like I said, there's no, for me, this month, there's no rhyme or reason as far as what I'm doing exercise-wise. I'm just kind of doing whatever I want, just having fun with it. And in January, I'm going back on the grind where everything is structured out, everything is more intense. But you want to prevent that burnout as much as possible. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are 3, 4, 5 years in, I mean, if you make it to 5 years, and you're committed, that's an accomplishment right there. But the first 2 years are probably the most fun, I'll tell you that. Just because you're learning everything is new, you're so confused on everything, but you're having a lot of fun. 3rd year, okay, now things are getting a little bit slower progress. Now it's like, okay, I'm not as good as I hoped I would be, or whatever. And 4th year, you're like, do I still want to be an arm wrestler? So, which I think is normal to think about, right? So you win your amateurs, then you beat all the amateurs, then you go to the open class or the pro class, whatever you want to call it. Now the level went from here to here. The gap is so big, and the technique gap and the strength gap especially is so big that it's very easy to get frustrated. But one thing to understand is that everybody is getting better at the same time. So a lot of people gauge their progress on people at practice. You got to understand they're getting stronger too, just like you're getting stronger. So it's not you can't reflect back onto, oh, I pulled that guy a month ago and I could, I tore his arm off. But now I can't do anything. So so this is 80 pounds. Oh God, it hurts. Okay, we're gonna lighten the weight. We're gonna do reps. So we got 21 people in here. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about anything, handles or exercise-wise, my background or whatever, or goal setting. I think goal setting is probably the most important thing. I've been training a lot more with some of the guys here in the state, John Balak and his crew at the Arm Sports Entertainment crew. And I really like what John has done recently, where he has he has a whiteboard, and he has, this is John, this is Lewis, this is Steve, this is Tim. What's the PRs for these particular exercises? So that it's like, okay, that's my PR, what's my goal? Okay, my goal is this. So it's a lot, when you write something down like that, it becomes more concrete, and you're better at obtaining your goals. Compare that to if you're just kind of all over the place, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like it, and I don't have any back pressure goals or cupping goals or deadlift goals, whatever you're doing. So you can tell that those methods are effective based on the results of the people using them. So you look at John and Lewis and Tim Talmadge is at the highest level that we've ever seen him. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. I mean, but at the end of the day, that guy's been, pulling like 15 years or whatever it is. So be consistent for 15 years and you'll be at a high level too. So we're gonna do reps here. I think this sport is a lot different than a lot of different sports as far as how to get better and what works and what doesn't work. Being in pain and what that pain feels like, and you're used to working out and your muscles being sore or whatever, that's kind of like your indication that things are happening. Where it's in arm wrestling, the pains you feel you think something's messed up in there. You think you tore a tendon, or you think you got some nerve damage, or it's always 100 because you're basically tearing your arm every week, right? So especially when you're new. The new guys get the most damage because they can exert the least amount of force compared to people at a higher level, and they get ripped open so many times during arm wrestling practice, right? So I think a tip I have for people who are trying to elevate their state's clubs or the number of arm wrestlers is, once you get a new guy in, show him the ropes, but don't beat up the guy, at least not yet, right? Don't go hard with him, because a lot of guys, they come in, they're curious about arm wrestling because, they're the strong guy. They're a strong guy at the gym, or people told them they were strong or whatever. They come to practice and they get ripped open by a guy who's 140 pounds. So, and then they're like, well, fuck this. Arm wrestling's not the sport for me. So don't do that. Don't rip your guys open. Go live with them and progressively, ideally, exert more and more force upon them so that they get better progress and they're not too damaged, right? D'Anthony Miller, what's up? Training Q, where do you add static holds in your program and do you dedicate a whole session on them? So every coach, so I don't have my own stuff that I do. I kind of would do the similar things anyway, but every coach is different as far as kind of what they like and what they perceive to be effective. When I was working with Reza Dilmaganian, he had a lot of, for example, so he's an awesome coach, by the way. Hit him up on Facebook and get some training. Very, very affordable training if you guys want to get your feet wet onto kind of more of a structured workout program. His program involved a lot of static holds. For example, like let's say I have a weight and I'm holding here for 30 seconds, okay? And then after that, I'm holding here for 30 seconds. And then I'm holding here for 30 seconds, right? So I'm building up the tendon strength that way. Some coaches don't do that or whatever, but for me, it was effective. The theory also, another benefit behind that is that in a match, you have 30 seconds to get a grip, right? So if the guy, especially a guy at a lower level, if you're kind of yanking on them, you're loading a lot or whatever it is you're doing, and you just keep exerting force during the 30 seconds, right? And their arm is already getting tired because they're not used to those static holds. So that's another thing that can elevate your game. So the way I do static holds now is during practice, I would, me and another puller it doesn't matter what level, you're not exerting a lot of force. So for example, I'll go into my starting position. I'll tell them, go into your starting position, exactly like you would start a match. I want you to load side pressure and top pressure. So load here and here. And then we're gonna hold that for up to a minute and a half. So we're gonna go like this, but you're gonna feel it by the time 40 seconds comes in. So that's gonna build a lot of those same things. I like that a lot better because one, you're actually using someone's hand and you're adjusting based on how tired they are or whatever. So it's a lot, like John Brzezinski says. So John, we train with John Brzezinski a lot, and Eric will always try to convince him to do a particular exercise, and he's like, well, that's good this way, but he doesn't do that. It doesn't feel right. That's what he says. And I'm like, well, John, what would you do then? He said, well, just arm wrestle. So when a lot of people, so John is the worst coach you can have because his advice is always the same, just arm wrestle. So that's like listening to a person who has 50 years of experience in a sport. They're like, well, just spar or something. Their level of understanding is so high that maybe they don't know how to verbalize what they're really saying. What John Brzezinski means when he says just arm wrestle is that whatever you're doing here, do that with a person's arm. So you can have all the handles that you want, but all of these handles train different things, right? So this one trains side pressure, but it doesn't train pronation. This one trains back pressure, but it doesn't train cupping. This one trains cupping, but not pronation, But with another person's hand, you can do all of that at the same time. And so it's a lot more realistic. So Robert Radke says Reza, and praying hands right there. So that's another student of Reza, and Robert Radke is a really good level. I think he's benefited a lot from Reza's training. So shout out to Reza Dilmaganian. Hit him up on Facebook. Yeah, he's awesome. Let's keep doing riser. Like I remember me and my brother went to Reza's house one time. He lives around 3.5 hours south of me. And we were both asking him, give us exercises. This is a while back, like 3 years ago. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you what the best thing to do is. He's like, come with me. So he leads us to his backyard. And his backyard is full of different size rocks and whatever. It's a typical backyard, right? And he grabs a rock and he hands it to my brother. He said, okay, hold this. And he's like, my brother's like, what do you mean? So he's like, you asked for the best exercise, hold this. And the rock was like an odd shape and all these things. And my brother held it. I think he got like 20, not 20, but maybe 12 seconds in. He's like, ugh. He's like, that's what you want to do. You want to do things that are different because this sport is a lot different. It's not very unidirectional, right? It's not, you're not just doing this. You're doing this and all these other things. So, the best arm wrestlers come from the hard labor jobs, right? Roofers, construction workers, landscapers. We have a lot of guys like this guy's a roofer and he's smashing everybody. Why is he smashing everybody? It's because he's carrying up shingles every single day while you're typing up on your computer and you're wondering about if you're overtraining. Brian says, how much do you weigh right now? Maybe like 240, like 242. So I recently got up to 250 because I'm a fat ass. And I just wanted to eat a lot for fun. But yeah, I'm going to steadily go down to make the 232s for the UAL event. I don't know when it is, maybe April? I don't know when it is. But yeah, I always stay above my competition weight, always, by up to maybe 15 pounds. Reason being is that you want a lot of calories, you want surplus nutrition, carbs, fats, protein, to rebuild what you're doing in the gym. If you're always at a calorie deficit or you're always trying to maintain a weight that's kind of artificial for you, you're not going to be replenishing your system. You got to feed the beast. Now, one thing I'm really trying to focus on is when I do this is, yeah, the riser might be strong, but the connection from here to here might be weak. So that's my weakness, is opening up like this. So I tend to hit and I tend to open up like that. So one way I'm counteracting that is training in the gym is when I do these exercises, I make sure I'm locked here as tight as I can, and then I go like this and I rock back. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. We've been doing this for about an hour and 20 minutes. Some, one bad thing about, not bad thing, but it's really annoying. So when you use a coach, the workouts are a lot longer than what we're used to. So I remember sometimes Reza's workouts were 3 hours long. When I followed a Coach Reyes' program, they were almost 4 hours long. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have 4 hours to just diddly around in the gym, okay? So you got to work with your coach and try to find out what the most efficient thing for you is. Starting in January, I'm going to be doing 3 days a week specific arm wrestling training and 1 to 2 pulling sessions a week. So we'll see how that goes. So again, whatever I'm doing from here to here, or whatever it is, I'm maintaining this tightness. Ideally, it's not going to drop at all. So like that. Now, one trick I like to use for maintaining tightness during the setup and during the execution of the hit is, so you're setting up, right? You get into the stance that you want, whatever that might be. You load up here. I focus on having this as tight as I can, or at least I try to. I try to get some sort of advantage, whether it's tightness or height here or coverage of my fingers. So I'm maintaining tightness here. One tip to maintain this tightness right here is going forward here. So if you're up like this, Travis likes to do this a lot. Travis trains when he has his seminars and stuff like that. He kind of teaches, make a fist and kind of go like this. When you go like this, when you hit, even if you're separating like this, you're going to be in a better position compared to if you started like this and you're already here. So this is a terrible position. And for all you people who do King's move, you guys all suck, and stop doing that. So yeah, that's just one tip that I have. Another tip I think that not a lot of people kind of talk about is their shoes. So for instance, so height in arm wrestling, as far as just your actual height, is important up to a point, right? So if you're Brian Shaw and you're 6'8", it can be detrimental because the table is whatever size it is, and it doesn't change. It doesn't get bigger as you get bigger. But it's beneficial up to maybe 6'5" or 6'6". So if you're 5'10" or 5'11", what I like to do is I get shoes that enhance my height. So these are Hokas, and these add around 1.5, 2 inches on your height. So not a lot of people understand that. I see a lot of people at tournaments in slippers or Crocs for whatever reason. I mean, unless your name is Devin Larrett, I wouldn't get Crocs. Let's do some pronation. Let's see what the battery's at. So we're at 46 battery. Okay. Okay, Justin says, Todd Hutchings training is what's worked best for me. Absolutely. That's great. So that's why you have to try different things and it'll work out for you. Right now, I'm experimenting with doing table time in Todd's program. I'm getting very good results. That's awesome. As long as you don't get injured. It's very, very hard to do. At Justin Douglas, is Uncle Todd selling his program? Justin says, no, I've just watched every video I can on this training. So Todd's program is very simple. So it's the conjugate system. It's kind of like what Westside Barbell does. So you have your speed days and you have your max days. And let's say you want, for example, let's use powerlifting as an example. You want to build up your bench press. So the conjugate system would be, we're not going to use the flat bench. We're going to use variations of the flat bench, and we're going to do max effort and speed day off of them. We're going to do incline bench. We're going to do close grip bench. We're going to do pressing off the floor, things like that. So you get good in these other ways, and it benefits the main exercise, right? So how you do that in arm wrestling is that, let's say you want to build side pressure. Well, you're going to utilize different handles from different lengths, heights, and things like that, and you max out and do speed days on those, and then you go back to your regular exercise. So it's very beneficial like that. Usually when you do the same thing over and over again over a long period of time, you don't get as many results. If you tend to get negative results over time because your body becomes acclimated to it. Okay. So we're going to utilize our belt here, do some pronation. Okay, Devix TR says, how many days should you rest a week as a natty, of course? I like that you said as a natty because that's very, very important. Okay, it's a very important variable to know, right? So when you're asking for advice, so obviously somebody who's enhanced and is taking testosterone and oral steroids or whatever, they can handle a lot more volume, right? Because they can recover from that volume. As a natural, you just can't do that. You have to go off of how your body feels. So for me, I used to be, so about 2 years ago, I used to be on, great explanation, right? So 2.5 years ago, I started testosterone replacement therapy, right? So just the replacement therapy, not steroids or anything, just the replacement. But you also get performance. It's a PED, right? So testosterone is a PED. So I realized that I could train more from it and I can recover better. So I had to stop TRT because I'm trying to have a child now. So I've been off for a little bit over a year now, and I've realized that you have to train a lot smarter. You have to train. You have to choose your exercises very carefully because you're going to get broken down a lot more. Okay. As far as how many days should you rest a week, it depends. I always think about the Bulgarians and how they arm wrestle 3 times a day, every single day. I'm still very skeptical on those, and I don't know if they're on stuff or they're not on stuff. I know a lot of the elite guys, and my coach is an elite guy, and a lot of those guys. Well, mine is Sandra's because he competes in the WAF. Like the Latvians are all drug tested and they're sponsored by the government and things like that, and then they can't take anything. But 99% of the other guys are on stuff, so you can't do what Hermes does. You can't do what the juiced up Georgians do. You can't do 200-pound dumbbells like this, multiple times. You can't do that stuff because you'll basically die. I feel like I'm overtraining, but I also feel like I can always do more. Generally speaking, it's better to undertrain than overtrain, right? So for me right now, I could just load up the weight and I could just tear the piss out of my body. But that means that tomorrow my workouts are not going to be as good, not going to be as effective. My pulling day on Sunday is not going to be as effective. It's going to be a lot more damaging to my arm. So it's better to go a little bit lower on the intensity and the volume and train more frequently. The name of the game is recovery. If you're not recovering, then you're not getting ahead. Okay, so one of my moves that I like to do is the defensive top roll. Revealing all my secrets here. So I set up in the front like this. Hopefully that's better. I think my thing died. The microphone died out. All right. I feel like I'm overtraining. Okay, so Brian says, so basically arm wrestling is about volume, right? It's basically volume, medium intensity volume over a long period of time. Okay, don't give out your moves, only training methods. The good thing about how I've done things is how I've kind of structured my training and whatever, is that I can do multiple moves, right? So in a match, my very first match, I'm going to do my ace move, right? I'm going to do a number one move. After that, everyone knows if you're looking at the match let's say there's 20 guys in a class and what I'm doing is I'm looking at the guys who are arm wrestling. Like, okay, that guy's a top roll, that guy's a hooker, that guy's whatever. Everyone's going to know after the first match what you're doing. So you have to do something different. You have to expect them to respond to that. So don't be a one-trick pony. I'm going to use Joseph Morento as a result, as an example. So Joseph is an Arizona guy, and he was recently on King of the Table. So basically the highest of high and the most, really the best production you can be on, right? So his move is it's a crashing down sort of hook. He happens to be very, very good at it and very, very strong. But one thing he said he realized is that he needs to be a little bit more versatile. I don't know, I think it was the second or third round where his opponent, Kevin Palco, opened up his hand pretty easily, right? So from that, he realized that, okay, now Kevin knows that he'll go that route instead of just going inside with me. So that's why you have to be versatile in the sport. Not a lot of people can be like Rustam Babayev, where they're going to go and hook all the time, or like Krasi, they're going to go to hook every single time. Better to do this though. So we're going to train that move, that defensive top roll. So we're going to go to this, losing, like this, and we're going like that. There's no secrets in arm wrestling. So I'm going to finish up working out here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hopefully you guys like this format, and I'll make sure my mic gets more juice next time. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll probably be 5 more minutes or so. It's not a lot of weight. I think it's like 20 pounds. Devik says it's 2 a.m. here, night bud. It's 2 a.m. What time is it here? It's 6 o'clock here. So man, he must be a European. Where is it 2 a.m. right now? Not a lot of weight. You have enough juice in the beginning of your workout to be effective in 1 or 2 movements. The third is going to not be as good, so I wouldn't push that as much, as hard. So we train top roll, this sort of top roll with a back pressure, and we train the defensive pronation, defensive top roll like this, or we're going to the B side. Justin says, are Sandra's and Ray's program similar? So they're very similar. I think you sent me you're the guy who sent me the Coach Ray program, the hook and top roll program. So I did that for a while. I really like their programs because you can click on the exercise and it takes you to a video explanation. Sandra's, being a student, the Latvian guys, all of their stuff is pretty similar. That's kind of like the Bulgarians, right? The Bulgarians all kind of train similar. The Georgians are, a different breed, and the Kazakhstan guys are a different breed. So they all kind of do different things. You got to just try different things. So one thing about Coach Ray's program and Sandra's program, sometimes it can be a little bit long. So if you're doing it right after work, that's something you're gonna have to get used to. Okay, we're at 50 pounds. 50 pounds is a good weight for this exercise. Yeah, that's pretty much the workout. Starting in January, I'm going to be doing a lot more structured workouts. Probably a lot longer. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe I'll do this again in the future. We had around 22 people or so on. So let me know what you guys think.